Okay, and we are live now.
Beautiful.
So I have Kirtika here with me, and today we are going to be talking about soul-led business. So I'm very excited to see what is going to be flowing through. Um, I guess to start off, Kirtika, what do you feel like soul-led businesses versus business done like in a more traditional or like mind-heavy way?
That's a very good question. I would say when someone, through their messaging, through their offers, through their presence, is felt rather than just like it's there, like just take it, like whatever I have, just take it, rather than it has a heart-led energy, a storytelling, like why are you even doing that, right? Tell
Mhm.
me, like, what exactly got you there. And that's where I feel like when someone says something, it just resonates something in you. And that's where I feel like it just connects with your soul, like straight away. You're like, "Ugh, I felt it in my soul." That's where I feel like that's a big difference. How about you? What do you think?
Mm. Yeah, I would say maybe the only thing I would add to what you share is for me, it's also like connection to the divine and creating from like this inspirational space versus trying to like force something or trying to figure out like how does this fit in, because in my journey it's been more about like surrendering and then seeing like what comes from being open versus trying to force, you know.
Mm. And I really like this because when we start our business, I mean, in my personal journey as well, I have many times gone to the ego side of things, and I think that's also a journey to learn. It's like, I'm feeling off here. I shouldn't be feeling off here. And that's where it starts to build your relationship with the divine even more, because you're like, it has to come from my center. But when you are not feeling in the center, you're like, where did I even learn this from? And when you sit with yourself, you're like, uh-huh, this is what I saw people were doing, these were the modalities which was kind of like popular, and then you're like, oh yeah, I can offer that as well. But it's like you're tapping into your own gifts and trusting those gifts that are there enough, and
Mm-hmm.
offering that, it just coming back to that center again and again. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, and I love that you're mentioning this like coming back to center, because I also feel like this is a conversation of like, does your business feel like something that brings you joy or is it feeling like a chore? Because I think I like last year I went through a rebirth in my business and now the business feels so much more aligned to who I am, but I had to go through the season of trying on other people's blueprints and realizing like at the end of the day I looked at my business and I was like, what even is this? You know, like I just felt like i I had accumulated like so many skills and certificates and all these things, but then when I was looking and like my brain was telling me like, oh well, you can offer this and let's offer this, and look, these people are making money with that and maybe that can be your thing. And then none of it really felt like actually interesting to me or like exciting. So then I had to be really honest with myself and realize that you can still do a business and make money, but how are you feeling inside of your business? Do you actually feel like you want to go do that? And for me, that wasn't something I could negotiate further and keep like forcing myself and like shooting on myself because it just like, why go create something that you don't even want to go do? Like that's then it's like no different than having a draining corporate job.
I love how you said having a draining corporate job, I want to add something that as well, that like personally for me, I started my business because I did not like do this one thing every day. My creativity was just so bored that I'm like, I'm gonna just do my own thing. And what I got into, that I was just so consumed at so many stages in my business where I was again doing the same thing, like just, offering one thing all the time. And I looked at it recently. I had this moment as well where I just fell off, and I looked at it. I'm like, why am I even sharing about just one thing? Like, I don't even believe in that. I can talk about multiple things. Like, who is gonna tell me off that, hey, you made this reel about this topic yesterday, but now you're talking about this? It's like, yeah, of course, because I
Mhm.
can. It's coming through me as long as it's connecting that thread. So what I mean by thread is, for everybody, soul connection with the spirit looks different. For me, it feels like spirit uses me as a vessel, sometimes to teach, sometimes to transmit, and sometimes to uh, ask like thought provoking questions as well. So why I even hold back? Because it's not leading me to my funnel, like it's just not the way
Mhm.
I want to do things. And I think that's why I haven't been making much videos on my YouTube, because I was so consumed that, oh, but it's not related to that. Oh, but it's not related to that. And now I've come to a point where I'm like, I just don't care. I want to like speak about those things and let the thread weave into together, however that is, right? Have you
Yeah.
ever experienced that? Any threads that you notice that come up and eventually it does make sense?
Yeah, what I'm thinking about as you're sharing is kind of my journey was I like tried all these different things and went through like the exploration season, which I think not many people really realize. Like in the beginning, if you're not very set on like, this is what I want to do, and I could feel that in my whole being, then there is like a discovery phase that you have to go through to kind of understand, what is your blend or what is the thing you want to focus on. And I went through that, and then I started to notice like, okay, like these modalities and these types of experiences are bringing me more joy, and I feel myself like, if I go on YouTube, I'm searching more for this type of content versus this. So I should like try to infuse that into my business somehow, because clearly that's what I'm like more drawn to. And so it's kind of like combining like who you are and then letting your business be more of like this extension of you, is how I see it. But I think what you're talking about too is like, and I went through this as well. You just kind of say fuck it to all of the niche down like advice out there, and you say, I'm going to talk about everything and whatever I want to talk about. And I think that's like a period of just getting really comfortable, like being that channel and express, like feeling that freedom to just express yourself. And then I feel like from there, maybe there is like refinements and stuff you can make on the direction you want, or like maybe in these months you're going to offer like somatic dance, and then in the next few months you're going to do like some kind of journaling event, but like you play around with your creativity and you don't limit yourself in this box.
Yeah, because creativity comes in waves, and
Yeah.
I think somebody who is very creative plus evolves so fast, for them they're already done with the modality that they really resonated with like a month ago or two
Mhm.
months ago, and now they're like, okay, I'm in this in between phase, what's coming through me? And what happened for me in my own journey, that whenever I was outgrowing the things, I always felt like, why can't I just stick to this one thing? And like, why I'm always in this in between phase? And it's like I had to ask myself that, because spirit is helping me to evolve, to not just stick to one thing that I'm, let's say it's a somatic dance, or this is just one thing that I'm gonna be offering for my whole life, and that is my soul-led business. No, it's just a way of expression that comes through me, and I can hold space through movement, but that's just not full me, and I'm still exploring the other side of me. And recently I've come across this another side of me who really loves art. Like, and I feel like it also connects back to my childhood, where I used to love in coloring in, and now it has evolved to a point, like I'm not gonna just be coloring in or making art, but I'm using that as to channel my wisdom. So what I mean by that is, yesterday I created something which I haven't posted yet. It had like a little actually, I did. I made two, so I posted one. It had a little message in the middle, which
Oh.
was like an expression for me to seeing the energy, how it flows through me. And when I was doing that, and I was like, wow, this, I'm not doing this. It's like, someone is doing this through me. And I, every time I picked up some other color, it's like it was speaking to me as in color, that now this color wants to do the boxes, now this color wants to do the circles. And as I started doing it, in the middle there was a space, and I was like, okay, so in the space, what do I feel trapped in? And there was, I was like, my gosh, spirit is like really talking to me right now. And it
Mm.
was on my, like, right there. And I drew sun, and it started to tell me that, sometimes when you're afraid of your own bigness, your own light.
Mm.
And it told me right there that where the sun was, right one, and outside, right, one energy experiencing its many forms. So that's my new expression. Like, I didn't learn it from somewhere, it's just
Mhm.
unlocked through me. So why would I hold back? I can also guide other people that, hey, the art is in you, the artist is in you. When you get out of that and just drop it in, like, listen to it. And how do you listen to it? You surrender. So it's a different way of expression. Have you ever experienced like
Mhm.
different expression come out of nowhere?
Hmm. I guess the way that I like create within my business is similar to that, like the inspiration, whether it's like the name or like how to do it or what like an element that wants to be part of it, it'll just kind of like I have my morning practice, and so then like that's like my sacred space in the morning for me. I love to be in my own energy first before I start my day. And a lot of times, the times I've felt the most like spirit kind of like moving through me and expressing and creating in that way has been usually after I do like my breath work or meditation. And then I'll just sit there for like multiple hours and just like write like all the ideas and everything. And then I'll like write down like, okay, I was thinking this, and then like I'll feel into it. But when it's like soul led and divinely led, it feels very different. It's almost like my mind doesn't even have time to like question it or have any doubts, and it will just like I will just like you were saying, you feel like someone else is almost doing it through you, and it feels like weird to say that, but that's the best way I can describe it. Like, you're still taking the action, but then it's like being guided from a deeper space, from a higher space, and then you are taking the action and it feels different, and maybe even afterward you might think like, why did I do that? But then um I feel like every time I have realized like that that's what was happening, then things just kind of like align on their own. And I never would have been able to like create it that way or force it to be that way. Like it just happens on its own. And I think that's why the surrender and like being open is so important, because that's how we can be guided. Because if we're so focused on like it has to be this way, then we're basically saying like we're not open to any of the guidance that is trying to come through. So we're not even gonna hear it because we're like so focused on this is the way I have to do this. And I don't know, it's also fun to like have days where you just don't plan anything and just flow with the day. And I think this is like um, when we talk about like masculine and feminine energy, like we're so used to doing everything the masculine way, like you take the action, you work hard, you do all this, but then the feminine way is like you can lean back and you can receive. And I think there's like a balance between the two, because I've also experienced where I was like spent months meditating and doing all the emotional alchemy on my balcony, and I was thinking I would attract clients that way, and it didn't work for me that way. And I had to learn by trying that and seeing that's not what works, for at least for me at that time. And realizing like I have to take action and have a role in this. And that's why I love to think of it as like it's a co-creation with the divine. Like we are not the sole creators of our lives, and the divine is also not like, I don't know, like pulling puppet strings on us. Like I feel like it is both together, the way that we dance and the way that like our intention and what we're willing to go do take action on is like the conversation that we're having all the time, and then the divine shows up and supports us, and then it's like that dance.
Mm, yeah, it is a dance of flow and structure. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what happens, what you asked in the beginning about traditional business and soul-led business. Traditional business are more, they're very restricted in the structure. It has to be that way. It has to be done this way. Whereas a soul-led business, you as somebody who is doing everything needs to learn when to flow and when to put a structure in. So
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by that is, this is something that I have noticed within myself, that I would love to make content, but when it comes to actually making an offer or putting myself out there, I would be like, and it's not out of like, I don't think that someone will buy, but it's more so like, do I even trust the structure that I built, that hey, someone already
Mm-hmm.
out there will love this structure, the container that I've hold in. And for personally for me, because I've always done like 101 spaces, whether it's like 1 hour session or 3 months container, anything like that, what I'm navigating is another form of structure, that whatever I'm tapping into something new, can I just build something as a product that would help someone to go from point A to point B, and I don't have to pretend it. I can just be myself, that hey, like this is what uh, worked for me. You don't have to do it like me, but I'm going to guide you back to you through this practice, but still you have the agency to make your own decision. And that's my whole business is about, that yes, I could give you like so many modalities, but at the end of the day, I'm just gonna still sit in right in front of you, be like, so what do you feel about it? you
Mm-hmm.
know that's what, where the soul is, like, not like, okay, here it is, go follow, and if you don't, then you're failed, or you're not coachable or anything like that. It's more so like, this could be the way, but let me just tune in that what do you feel and where the resistance is, and if the resistance is still there, then can we like ask some questions here so that we can find the truth within. And I'm learning how to translate this kind of coaching, which I've always done, into this product based things. Because what I've noticed that people who lead soul led businesses, especially in the beginning stages, um, it's important to have sustainability, because if we are always relying on just 101 sessions, you get to a point where your battery is just run out. So you have to think sustainability as well. And someone who loves flow, this structure feels like, "Mm, do I have to?" But I think we're all learning, right? Spirit is making us all learn through that.
Mm-hmm. So, what are some ways that you have created more sustainability within your business, or that you're doing that right now?
I'm doing that right now. I thought of recording the somatic dances, like pre-recording the somatic dances, and then offering to the people that, hey, you can have a taste of like what it feels like to be in my world, and then if you feel like it really helped you, then I can customize this whole session for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about that, doing that. Another one I'm thinking is um, the power of feminine magnetism that I want to teach people, because I feel like it does relate to that structure and the flow. A lot of the entrepreneurs are always go, go, go. When
Mm-hmm.
it comes to receiving, that's what I want to actually teach them, that how to open yourself as a flower so that everything comes to you, and from there you move. And what I have been thinking about that, to make like an audio series where it'll be like purely channel what comes through me, that what do I feel about magnetism, like what exactly the blocks that people feel. And in that audio series people can just listen and be like, okay, yeah, I get it, I get it. And it'll have an activity in that as well, that next time when this comes in, try this, next time this comes in, then try this, and if not, just come back to your body again. So I'm still playing with this new territory that has been unlocked to me about sustainability. Another thing that what I did do to build that sustainability is, when I first started my business, I used to do only like 1 hour session,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I felt like it was just taking too much of my energy every single day. What I started offering after that is a big container, like 3 months, so that I'm still doing the same work, but it's more so like very sustainable in terms of financials as well. So because it's a big amount, and it also sustains the customer or the client with you as well, because now they see that, oh yeah, I'm changing, I'm transforming. And from there, I've always noticed people are like, let's go one more month, let's do one more. And like, it's just so fascinating, like how the sustainability looks so different for everybody out there. So I would just say, like, whoever's listening to us as well, like, feel into you, like how do you want to create, and go create that, and trust
Mm-hmm.
it. What do you think about it, sustainability, and in your business, like how do you weave that thread of flow and the structure?
Yeah. So right now I'm doing the YouTube lives every other month, and then those are going to be evergreen so people can get them afterward if they want, and they're each on like a different element of having a soul-led business. So like for instance, this month in May we're not doing one, but then next month in June it will be on money and worth. and I'm weaving like my own experience and speaking to like what that has been with each topic, and then allowing also for time at the end if anyone wants like live intuitive coaching. So it's like, for me, I did it to get in the habit of like showing up. And then when I was thinking about like, okay, I want to do these lives, originally I was thinking like, oh, I'll do one every month. And then I sat with that and I realized, you know what, Eva, like life is going to be pretty full. And I'm so glad I listened to myself because it has been very full. Um, so I actually decided to do like every other month for the sustainability purpose, to make sure that I could still show up, that I would still have enough time in between to kind of prepare a little bit. Because they are pretty much like channeled, but I do like to kind of have like some key points that I share on. And yeah, so that has been really supportive, and I'm excited to kind of have that as an offering at the end of the year. And then what else? I think I'm still kind of sitting with the structure of one-on-one support for right now because my schedule is just so crazy. I have people applying through a form to work with me so that I can receive their answers and then like kind of see where they're at in business and see like what I could even support with, like in what capacity. And then from there, like schedule versus just having people like book on my calendar. And then like I kind of want to more of an introduction to them first, and kind of find out a little bit more before having that initial call. That feels really good right now versus just opening my calendar. And I think I always in the back of my head had like, oh, what if like I get too many people like booking, and then I would have to like put limits on how many calls and everything. And so yeah, this just feels better because I can kind of coordinate it. Like I still have the structure of a booking software that I can send like a link and it will do the booking and the video and everything. So I think like that's really supportive, but I'm still kind of doing it a little more manual, but for right now it's fine.
Mm. It's so important to listen to ourselves, what we
Yes.
have the capacity to offer. And I'm so glad that you did. It's one of those things that am I gonna be stretching myself? But there's a difference between good stretch and you're pushing it here, you know that, right?
Mhm.
And you're like, no, I'm just gonna go for this thing. And it's the beauty of listening to the spirit guidance that my soul feels right in this, and I'm just gonna do that, right?
Mhm.
So I love that.
Thank
Mm.
you. And we know ourselves the best, regardless of what society tells us. So I feel like who better to set us up for success than ourselves? Maybe that connection to self needs to be strengthened a little bit by, building the trust and seeing like how our intuition can guide us to these wonderful experiences and to create these beautiful offerings and art that gets to contribute to the world right now. But um, I think I was thinking about this one day, and I was wondering like why people don't want to like insource their wisdom, like why they're always looking for like the coach, the therapist, someone outside of them to tell them what's going on when we all have access to it within. And I realized like the way we see ourselves might be very skewed because we're with ourselves 24/7. So we see all the mistakes that we made and all the times we feel like we messed up and should have done something a different way. So some people take that as their identity, and then they don't see themselves as capable. And I think that maybe is possibly one reason why they don't realize they can go inward. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I truly get it because there's another part to it that a lot of the people don't believe in themselves, and when they come on social media, especially social media plays a big role in conditioning them again,
Mm-hmm.
but not in a way which makes them like unconditioned and get them back to themselves, but more in a way that, oh, this person is saying that they are 8-figure entrepreneur, they must have the secret key, so let me just go and figure it out, like what's the blueprint there. And the thing is, those marketing tactics are so good that you start to feel like, oh yeah, I want to be in the room, I want to learn all those things, but at the end, like, it just kind of feels like it's just not you, because someone is just again giving you this, okay, this 5-step formula or some blueprint or something, whereas all you needed is someone to just listen to you, like, hey, where this pattern of not trusting your gift started from, tell me, like, what exactly happened in your life. And that's where I feel like I thrived in my one-on-one spaces, where I saw this pattern that so many brilliant women who were coming up to me, it's like it's not that they didn't know enough or they were not talented or anything like that. But when they came to me, they were just not feeling themselves.
Yeah.
It's like the pile of things that they learned, and the way they even started talking as well, their words started to sound like somebody else. And what happens after that, they feel burnout, and they start to feel like, do I even trust myself with this business that I'm creating, because it's not going anywhere? Because here's the thing, like, if you're following someone else's blueprint, the first sign is, of course, you will feel like a chore. And the other thing is, you're not getting clients to the caliber that that
Mm-hmm.
can, like, sit right in front of you, and then you can just speak, like the conversation flow. It's like a sign that you feel that, nah, it's just not fitting in. And I think that's where that self trust has to come in that void. You don't need anybody else. I mean, you can talk to people, but the ones who actually guide you back to yourself. But if you have the ability to sit with yourself and be in the void and unlearn the things, and again come back to that center, that what does my center say to me, like, how does it feel if I just turn on the camera and just speak my mind, like, hey, this is what I am, this is what I'm offering, and trusting that it will reach the right person, creating
Mm-hmm.
an offer, creating a membership even, and feels like, yes, I am so proud that I created it, because I know I needed it, and this is my offering to the world. That has a different energy. That doesn't feel like pushing, or feel like you will have to market it so hard, because it just comes naturally to you that, yeah, I lived it, and now I am the leader who can guide you, not in a way that, oh, follow me, but it's more like, and having them the giving them a way, like, hey, enter this world and see how we can all thrive.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, there was so much you just said. I'm trying to backtrack to what you were talking about in the beginning, because there was a question I was going to ask you. Hmm. It's not coming up though.
In the beginning, I shared about that when they come to the social media, the conditioning,
Mm.
uh it just like layering one conditioning to the other. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big piece of my journey. For like multiple years I was stuck in comparison, because I would like compare to the coaches that I was investing in. And I got sucked into, this is why when I say, like, please don't invest into a program or a coaching container just because you feel like this person will save you. I say that because I did that. And I did not receive the support and the result that they had promised because they were not the right person for me. And the beginning, the way I invested, I should have known that. But I felt very like desperate to figure out what was wrong with my business. And I felt like there was something wrong with my business. There was something wrong with how I was navigating it. And I didn't have that self trust. And then after going through those experiences and realizing this is not my like mentor and this person cannot support me, and then I went, my intuition actually told me for a whole year, every time I wanted to go like look for someone else to save me and help me with my business, that it wanted me to turn inward and to ask the question to myself. So I did that for, I don't know, I think even longer than a year. And then I stopped working with mentors to give myself that space to really hear what was coming on inside, because the especially the internet world is very loud. There's a lot of noise. And
Yeah.
until you take the time to turn it off and to like get that quiet space, and you don't even have to sit and meditate. You can do somatic dance, you can sit and draw, you can journal, you can, but like be out in nature. But the whole point is like take time for yourself, because that's how you can develop the relationship to actually hear what's going on in here and stop always listening to what's out here.
Yeah, listening to ourselves in that void. And that's the thing, that we are running from that void and we run to the wrong places
Yes.
because we're so afraid to go to that void. And that's where the real mentor always guide you back to ask you the questions which makes you be like, you don't have to answer right now, sit on it, go on a walk with that, create some space, and then you talk to me that what came up for you. Because that was the whole point of guiding someone. That's how I've always uh, learned, not through like mentors or anything. While growing up, I remember my dad used to take us to this sage. I've always like around those mystic sages, so I think that's where this transmission has already been in me. I would always feel so connected with him that he's not telling anybody, but everybody is still opening up to them for the guidance, and
Mm-hmm.
all he's guiding is their own stories or the things. And he had this ability to just see through people, that what they are hiding, and he would not be afraid to say that. And I think that's the best thing that I have gotten from him. He didn't know that he was teaching me, but I
Mm-hmm.
gotten from him that I'm very upfront as well. That if I can listen to someone and I would pick up a pattern, that this is what's coming up, I would say it. I mean gently, but I would always
Mm-hmm.
say it, that this is what's happening underneath. I want you to like really sit with this, that where did it come from, and let's resolve it together, not today, over the days, over the weeks, or take your time with it. Like there's no rush in it. But
Mm-hmm.
just notice that the resistance that you're feeling, it's not the other strategy, or I can tell you that, oh, go do this, this is the 30-day plan for you. It's not that. It's more so like, go on a walk without a phone, without a device, and just look at the trees and open and receive it. Receive the guidance, and then we can talk. It's just
Mm-hmm.
so interesting how it's always been there. The guidance have always been there. It's all
Mm-hmm.
weaving in. Like, it's just making the space to listen to it.
Yeah, and I feel like that advice and that encouragement is already out there for free. Like how many people have said that like all the answers are within, but sometimes we need like people to that we can trust, that can like walk with us as we learn how to do that more. Because for me, I feel like I knew like mentally what I had to do, but I still wasn't taking the action. And I think sometimes as like a guide, your role is more that like accountability, like when someone feels they are not alone, they can do it together versus like, I mean, sometimes I've had clients where, like I'll like work with them and then we like take a break and then we work again. And I've noticed like during that time that we weren't working, they either like went back into old patterns or didn't really take much steps forward from what we had like left off. And it really made me think like, okay, yeah, this whole like one session thing is like not enough, because I don't want to like work with someone for an hour and a half and then like they go off their merry way and I never see them again and then that's it. So I feel like right now, as after like everything I've experienced in my own journey and then also like how I've been showing up, I'm creating is like keeping in mind more sustainable transformation, because obviously too it's going to be also the responsibility of the person to show up and do the work, and and then like they have a big role in it, right? I cannot do it for them, but creating the container in a way that supports also the like spaciousness and almost like mystery of it, like because you cannot predict, oh, in this time together we will for sure do this. Sometimes I walk into sessions and I'm thinking in my head like, okay, this is what they want, their intention, we're probably going to do this, and then I sit down and then we end up going a whole different direction and I did not expect that, or no way for me to predict that. But I think that's the beauty of like being more like intuitive and soul led, is that you and I are not afraid to allow like what needs to come through in the moment, so that like we're not following this like 7-step process with each person. We're like meeting them where they're at. And I think that is like the future of this space, because I think people are tired of like, investing in these guides and then they are given like this steps, but then they fall off in like step 2 or 3 and they don't know how to move past it, and it's cuz like they're not being met with where they're at.
Mm, so true. And I want to add into it that the reason people don't follow through because the speed of the execution has to match the nervous system as well.
Mhm.
That yes, we can give someone's advice to do this and this and this, which we know which will be beneficial for them, but at the same time, everyone's nervous system is so different. What I've noticed that you have to like have the ability as a mentor to really tune in that where this person's nervous system is, like how they're opening up, how their body posture is, how they're speaking, like there's always clues, right? And
Mhm.
from there, creating that safety in that container, that whatever you're sharing with me, it's not like I'm gonna judge you, anything like that, or it's not like I'm just gonna scold you, why didn't you do this, or what I have seen a lot, that a lot of the people kind of market in this way that I'm just gonna tell you off, anything like that. I understand that you want them to be better or anything, but in my own personal journey, I never listened to someone who would just tell me this. I would be like, how can I be more safe with you to tell what's on my heart? And that's where I don't even need you to tell me the next step. I would just go do it, right? It's just, would do you have the ability to hold my bigness even in my speed of execution, plus the things that have happened to me and how it is connecting that thread to my execution and not execution as well. So I think it's really important if someone is thinking about leading a soul led business, especially like a service led
Mhm.
101, big containers or anything like that. I would say like big containers, it is so important to even select people to work with you that you really feel tuned in with, that this person has the capacity to hold the depth that I'm going to take them in. Because in those 3 months, you having a structure is important, that week by week or maybe month by month, this is what we're going to be working on. But you will start to notice, so let's say it's a 3 months, after 1 month, or end of the 1 month, they, you will see that they'll start to kind of like dip it in. They're like, oh, this is getting too much. And that's where the leadership really shows up in, that
Mhm.
I see you, I hold you, I know your vision, I'm gonna show you that vision. But
Mhm.
I'm this week, I'm just meeting you here. Let's just talk about, like, take the strategy away. Just bring the humanness in and be like, oh yeah, I see you. And what I've noticed in my own business journey, that it is so important when we are running soul-led businesses, not to be like, I am the one person who's going to do everything for you.
Mhm.
Share the abundance with the other people that you know that this person can be beneficial. For example, uh, something came up once in my own container where I felt like I could not hold the depth that she shared with me. For me, it was like, it's just too much. I don't want to take her to the territory which is not for me. I mean, I could, but I just, my spirit or my intuition was like, no. And that's where I was like, who would be in my own circle, in my own sisterhood, would hold that space? It's not like, oh my gosh, she's gonna think like, oh my gosh, she can't hold me now. Now she's referring to
Mhm.
me somebody else. I took it in a way that, wow, I get to circulate the abundance to my other sisters as well, that
Mhm.
hey, can you please help her as well. And I firstly thought the conditioned self, that I will be perceived in a way that she just doesn't know enough, or she's not qualified enough, or anything like that. But my trust in choosing the person to who I work with turned out that she loved it. She was like, wow, I absolutely love that you did not take me as in so lightly. You cared for me and you referred me to
Mhm.
somebody. And now she's loving it every moment. Like, they're loving this as well. And it's not that she stopped. I thought, my conditioned self thought that after that, they're going to stop working with me. They're like, oh, she doesn't know enough. But it turned out the other way. She was like, let's do one more month. And I was like, whoa. See, that's the heart led way.
Mhm.
I didn't close my heart. I didn't do that. I opened my heart. I circulated the abundance. I saw
Mhm.
her. And from there, I didn't even expected it. And it just started to flow. So I feel like this is the beauty of leading a soul led business, to trust it, trust the voice of intuition, and let the conditioned self to be like, I hear you, but let me just go this way and just see what happens.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. And that's something too that I've been learning is the power of collaboration and community and how much more enriching the journey is when you go together with others and when you come across a resource or something or meet people and then you have the power to share that with others and lift others up in the process too. And so it's like I rise but we all rise. I love that too. And I can't tell you how many people I've met who like don't have that mentality. And then I'm like, man, like if only people would like realize like this is how you grow. It's not going to be in isolation like you like hustling and trying harder in your business. It's going to be through the people you meet and being open to do like what you did with your client, to actually like care for people and know like where your boundaries are in that moment, and then respect like this person needs this support and it feels like a no for me, so I'm gonna share you with this person because I know they will take good care of you. Like that speaks volumes, because you're right, we're not going to be the only resource and support, and rightfully so. I mean, like how many podcasts and books and videos like are you reading right now as you're developing your business? Probably multiple, not just one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so how can we expect people to like only, like it just feels so competitive to me to see it in that way. And for me, it's like it's never been that way. Like I cannot be competitive or see it in this way because it just doesn't feel true. Like it, like what are you going to create? You'll get to the top of the mountain and you're going to be all by yourself. And how is that fun?
Yeah, and I think that's where the what's this like foundations of a soul-led business, that what we spoke about in the beginning, that why are you even doing this? It's
Yeah.
because you have values, values of lifting people up, value of bringing people together, value of leading a human heart way, value of doing something which actually creates an impact. And I do want to touch on the word impact as well. I want to know about your thoughts. Like, if someone is listening to us right now, this impact word gets thrown around a lot, but I
Mhm.
feel like it lacks so much stuff, substance, what I have seen. What is impact for you?
Mhm. For me, impact is very similar to the word success. I think it's a very personal definition that each person needs to discover what like feels true for them at that moment. I think it can evolve, like, maybe people who now have like global audiences started off like in their community and didn't realize their impact and was going to ripple out this far. um I guess like as far as my own personal impact, I used to feel like I was here to touch a lot of lives, and I wanted to create that. And now I'm just kind of more in the listening of what's like the next step. Like, I'm not worrying about trying to reach like this number of people or have like this audience. Like, I just care to express myself freely and authentically and to support and touch people in a deep way in like whatever that looks like, and maybe it's like through my business, maybe it's like out and about, like not related to the business. So I feel like it's kind of become more open with time. um but I think it's like a feeling for me of like this fulfillment in my heart of I helped someone today. I maybe like made a joke and that person smiled, or I held the door, or I shared this resource with my friend and then that helped them. Um, or I did like an act of service for my partner and then he had more time before work or something like that. It's like not defined by kind of the quantity, which I feel like is usually how it gets defined. Like, I want to have this legacy and I'm going to impact this many people. And I did want that at one point, but I don't think it was my own definition, because when I look at my life and I think about like, have I had impact? I absolutely have had impact. Is it the level that I thought I should? No, but that doesn't take away from how I felt or how I helped the other person feel. And so it's like almost kind of a disservice to think that it has to be this number or this level to be meaningful, because it's more, like I said, like something you feel inside. At least that's how I think of it now.
Mm, I love that. I love how everybody has their own definition of it and you're clear about it. And for me, the impact and legacy kind of weave in together. For me, impact is um, how do I say, like, so it all weaves in, go back to my values, that did someone felt something in my presence or through my actions. And if I talk about on a micro level, like how I'm existing in this world and how I'm showing up, of course I feel like my existence really impact people, because even if I'm just sitting there, someone just feels and they share something with me, and I hold the space and I'm just guiding them back to themselves, that also an impact, right? And even in the business space as well, someone trusted me on the internet that this person would be the one who will guide me, and I was able to do that. So that's actually impacting lives as well. But a deeper version of me, I would say, like the visionary in me, the legacy or the impact that I want to leave into this world is to be the channel of that circulation of that wealth, circulation to break the unequal power structures and help the underprivileged, like people who don't really have the resources, or the homeless people. It could be, I mean, I still do it. uh, it would be like my, in my culture we say this one means the 10th part of what you're earning, it's going that way, because you're learning the circulation, you're learning the flow of it. So for me it's like working towards that, so that that 10% would go a little bit more and more and more, and not to just to be like to feed my life. I mean, like, you know how we all have our needs and desire, but it's more so like, wow, I was able to do this, like. And the bigger thing that I like, big thing that I want to do is to open up a kitchen, like a so it will be in a paddock, like a big area where there'll be like a veggie garden, and then there'll be like a cooking area where people can come in, and the food will be free, like especially for the homeless or underprivileged people
Mm-hmm.
that don't have the resources. And yeah, that's my biggest thing that I want to do, is like food has to be free in my space. It doesn't have to be the whole day. I mean, that's like going that far, but it could be some hours where I will be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if the spirit wants, like, it could be a like a everyday thing as well, 24 hours thing as well, that people can just come in, and it'll be run by volunteers. Of course I have other ideas as well, that how I'm going to do it to fund that part. But where I'm going with this is, impact and legacy for me is, I did something which world needed, and it was beyond me. It was beyond me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, I love that.
Mm. It's everywhere. Every time when I talk about it, it's just makes me like so much light up. And this thing, I think, came from, you must have heard watched the videos of Simon's Cube. He goes around and he asks people, what is your dream, what is your dream? And I was like, well, I'm already living my dream life. It's a beautiful life, right? But what exactly dream is, because your impact and legacy is kind of related to that. And
Mm-hmm.
that made me think that, yeah, this is actually my dream. This is actually my
Mm.
dream. You know, it's just so beautiful. Do you have a dream, Ava?
I feel like I'm in a point in my life right now where I'm just like letting things kind of settle. So I don't feel like I'm going that far ahead yet, or at least not right now, because I think I used to, but right now I feel like I need things to kind of settle a little before I can be in that like dream space again.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, totally get it. Mm.
Well, I absolutely love this conversation. I know both of us have no shortage of wisdom to share with the world, and would love to do this with you again whenever it flows. But I will make sure to have you also linked as a collaborator so people can check out your YouTube channel and connect with you as well. But is there anything else that you want to share before we end the live stream with people, and maybe we can say like a message to the soul led entrepreneurs out there or something like that to wrap it up?
You go first.
Okay. What's coming up is it's okay if others don't understand or support your dream. All you need is your own support.
Mm, of that. Mm. What I would say that if you're just starting out, lean towards what actually makes you alive and just share from that place. And if you have already started it and you're kind of feeling lost, the inner compass that you're wanting to lean towards, that path is leading towards joy. So the more you're going to bring the joy and the pleasure in your life, it doesn't have to be a strategy that I'm going to monetize in that, but it could be simply bringing more joy. That's where you start to create space, and the clarity is just going to drop in. So you're not lost, you're just so consumed. So create that space, and it's already there. Yeah.
Mhm. Mm, I love that. Thank you so much, Kirtika.
Thank you, Eva, for this lovely, lovely conversation. I look forward to watch it on YouTube again. And yeah.
Yeah, sometimes things just like come in the moment, and then I think, what did I say? Like I remember I said something that was really good, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah,
So it's nice to be able to rewatch it.
yeah, that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna end the live stream.